This is Mark Barsotti, ex-rock critic and current occasional writer of rock books. And we're going to be listening to part one of an interview I did with pre-stardom Billy Corgan all the way back in December 3rd, 1991. Please like and subscribe, and Billy will be right with us.
In Riverfront, how may I direct your call?
Billy Corgan, please.
One moment, please.
Hello?
Billy.
Yes.
Hi, Mark Barsotti in Denver.
Hi.
Been trying to get a hold of you for 2 weeks.
You know, I have to tell you something, and this is like
Certainly.
a bad rock cliche, but you know, I have people that like work for me now.
Yes,
This is all their fault.
I know.
And I didn't even know about this until like minutes ago.
No, I've. While we're on the subject quickly, does Mark work for Caroline or for you guys?
He works for us. He's our tour manager.
Okay, I wanted to kill him several times in the last 10 days, but that's another story.
He's a great guy, but you know, he works for Nine Inch Nails too. And I think he's like learned to become difficult just to be difficult.
I think so.
And that's really not how pumpkins work, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but and again, I didn't suspect that you guys knew anything about this, but we had 2 interviews supposedly set up from going back a week ago Friday, and it didn't go through. And 3 times he's had me call him, and then he's been asleep at the time that I've called, and he's bitched me out for calling him and waking him up.
You're kidding.
No, I'm serious. And it's been like totally fucked. But anyway, I finally got you on the line. I'm glad.
Well, I'm sorry that it turned out this way.
Well, hey, I'm already 2 days past deadline, but my boss is going to give me time to do it, so I'm really glad.
Wait a second, here's the evil man himself. Hello?
Oh,
I just told me it was evil.
okay. Anyway, you can spank him later. But anyway, let's get on with the interview now, since I have to get with this real
It's
quick.
really not that hard to get a hold of.
No, tell that. No. Once you get past Mark, it's fine. Anyway, could we start out with like a quick history of the band, how you guys got together, when, all that kind of crap?
Well, I'm getting to the point where I've told this story so many times, and I find it really uninteresting. And not even because I'm the one telling it. I just think it's a really uninteresting story.
Well, you can always lie and make it work.
No, and I'm not a liar. It's just kind of this basic premise of like, you know, I had a band in '86. It was a disaster. I was a band in Florida. Came back to Illinois. Sat in my room for like 2 years. And, you know, came up with this, I don't want to say concept, because it's not really a concept, but just this idea of like, okay, this is the kind of band I'm going to have, this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to operate, and this is going to be the means to an end. Blah, blah. So, you know, I set out to find people that would fit into that kind of mentality of very hardworking, but like more ambitious and not so like, oh, you know, let's try and be the next replacements, you know, which is a very common attitude like in Chicago. So, you know, I found the right people, nothing too interesting there. It was just a matter of time, I think.
Yeah. What was you said you came up with the idea. What was the actual idea?
Well, to create an environment by which you could pretty much do anything you wanted to do and not have it be out of context. You know, if you define a band as being very wide scope, then I think people will accept you as that. But you see what happens with a lot of bands is they spend a lot of time trying to get good at one thing, and then when they achieve that and they get bored with that, and then they try and stretch, people refuse to accept what they're trying to do as a stretch, and then the band is forever locked into this thing that they created. You know, most bands have pretty much one sound, and then, you know, it's basically the soft, medium, and loud versions of that sound. And I didn't want that. You know, I wanted something more akin to like a Led Zeppelin, where, you know, you could just pretty much do whatever you wanted to do, and as long as it was good, people would accept it. And I mean, that's a lot easier said than done, especially for a band that, when we started, you know, I was 20, James and Darcy were 19.
And that was what, 89? 98?
88.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we were just fucking kids, you know. You know, I mean, at the time, you know, we'd been out of high school a couple of years, and you think you're old, and I mean, you don't realize it until like something like now, you know. You realize that, you know, you're so naive, and so we spent, you know, a couple of years just kind of exploring and finding, you know, this, setting up something that would be able to grow from something and not be stifling and a drag.
Okay. You said you wanted the band to be a means to an end. What is the end that you're shooting for?
You know, the total I can't think of the word I'm looking for. The total realization of this like vision I have, you know. And then the next question would be, well, what's the vision? It's like you get this thing in your head, and you can see it, and you can taste it, and you can hear it, and you just want to get there, you know. And you know, I just like I'm kind of on that road, you know. I don't know how else to explain that, you know. I mean, people ask me, what do you want to achieve with Smashing Pumpkins? What I want to achieve is artistic and emotional, and not like success oriented. Success is definitely a part of that, because success is the ultimate validation of what you're doing.
Well, it's,
you know, I don't see the complete separation of the two, but I mean, it starts with the art part of it.
right. Well, it seems to me that the artistic validation comes from within you, and quote unquote success is what society may give you to say, yeah, you've done good. And
I
money
mean,
and stuff.
I don't want to be a mega huge monster stadium band. I think that's totally, that process dissolves every band, dilutes every band in the end. And I think it makes great bands like not so great bands, or imitations of the bands that they once were.
But what would you do if you guys got to the point where you could go into a city and there's like 20,000 people that want to buy tickets to see you? How would you deal with that?
Well, you know, the Chili Pepper tour has been very enlightening, just in the sense of getting a feel on what I would do. There's certain markets where we played a really big place, like say 4,000 people, where it's an appropriate place to see a concert, and that's not so bad. So, okay, say you had a potential audience of 20,000 people. Take the time to come into the city and play 4 nights, you know. Play 4 sold-out shows, and give people something different than just coming into town, booking yourself in the Enormo Dome, playing 1 show and leaving town.
Letting people see you from 300 yards away at the back of a football stadium or
Exactly.
something.
That's totally against what I believe is what I'm here for. I am not, you know, a monkey. And TV has really jaded people with the fact that they can see people that they know up close. So, you know, you can see someone on a video, you see somebody maybe playing live on some video or whatever, and then you go to see them and you can't even make out their face.
Yeah.
I mean, that serves no purpose at all. I think all that does is just kind of weaken what got the person there in the first place. So, you know, in other cities we played these places where there are 4,000 people, and it's the worst place you could ever want to go see a concert. There's absolutely no vibe there. There's all seats, and everyone just sits there and like looks at the sky, you know. And I'm not just saying this just for Pumpkins. I'm saying the Chili Peppers run into this too. So, my feeling is that if I'm put in that position ever, which wouldn't be the worst thing to be in, is I would take the time to do a really extended long tour and do multiple nights. That would be, you know, and maybe the shame of it would be is that you wouldn't get to play some smaller cities because there's obviously a time frame by which you want to tour.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the road for 3 years in a row.
But the fact is that, you know, I would much rather give someone an opportunity to come see my band in an ideal situation that gives the band the opportunity to create something that's amazing than put yourself at a disadvantage before you start and make it so that these people are never, you know, you got people paying $20 to come see the show, and $20 to buy a shirt, $5 for popcorn, you know, and they've got all this money invested in obviously time and some heart, and they're getting nothing for it. They're getting nothing but a long distance view of their heroes jumping around like monkeys, and that's not what I think rock and roll is about.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that trip into the Wayback Machine. Part 2 should be up in the not too distant future. Again, please like and subscribe, and we'll do some retro jamming in the not too distant future.